The ticket price. This does not shock me at all. What did I say earlier? The WNBA was about to F around and find out, and these rival teams were going to be in a lot of trouble. Well, they're finding out.
The lights dimmed, the crowd roared, and for a brief, electrifying moment, it felt like the WNBA had finally shattered the ceiling. After years of hustling for attention, fighting for full arenas, headline stories, and cultural respect, it all seemed to come together. Viewership was soaring, tickets were selling out, and the buzz extended from courtside seats to trending hashtags, from homes to primetime TV. It wasn't just excitement, it was history in motion. But then, everything shifted with a single update. One player ruled out for a few weeks. No serious injury, no official league statement, just a routine report. And yet, it triggered a ripple effect. Ticket sales dipped, fan engagement slowed, merchandise demand fell. What had looked like an unstoppable wave of momentum now showed its fragility. It was like removing one block from a tall tower and watching the whole structure shake. Suddenly, a sobering question emerged. Was this explosive growth in women's basketball truly sustainable? Or was it built on the shoulders of just one extraordinary player? The reality wasn't easy to face. The drop-off made it painfully clear. So much of the league's energy was tied to a single name, a single star. And now, the WNBA is staring down a hard truth. Its future might be more unstable than anyone wanted to believe.
The Caitlin Clark effect has been a net positive for the WNBA and all of its teams. But the star guard expected to miss a minimum of 2 weeks. The league will see the flip side of her impact, and there are already initial data points. This is front office sports, no conspiracies, no BS from them. Statistical data.
Before the rumors of her absence even began, the WNBA was riding a wave of unstoppable momentum. Every Indiana Fever game had become must-watch basketball. Tickets were flying off the shelves, with some going for over $80 just to get in the door, courtside seats even higher. The energy wasn't manufactured hype, it was real, electric, and undeniable. That kind of buzz pushed opposing teams and arena officials to make bold, calculated moves in hopes of capitalizing on the moment. Look at the Chicago Sky, for instance. They didn't just make adjustments, they went all in. They moved their matchup against the Fever from the cozy 2,400-seat Wintrust Arena to the towering 21,000-seat United Center, a venue typically reserved for NBA games and sold-out concerts. And they were betting it all on one thing, that Caitlin Clark's star power could fill every single seat. This wasn't just a logistical shift, it was a statement. A high-stakes gamble built around one player's magnetic draw. Because make no mistake, everyone knew exactly who the fans were paying to see.
To hit the panic button 48 hours after news hits that Caitlin Clark is injured and she'll be missing 2 weeks, the market has responded and the market has told the WNBA, we don't want this. We want her, but we don't want this.
Then came the moment everything changed. What began as a quiet whisper quickly exploded into major headlines. Caitlin Clark, the unstoppable force behind the WNBA's momentum, was out, sidelined. And in an instant, the league's energy seemed to vanish. The reaction was swift and unforgiving. The market didn't wait. It sent a clear, brutal message. Without her, this version of the WNBA simply didn't carry the same weight. The silence that followed wasn't just disappointing, it was deafening. Fans didn't show. Ticket prices plunged. The demand that once felt unstoppable evaporated almost overnight. Just look at the Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever game at the United Center. A ticket that was going for $86 dropped to just $25 within hours. A staggering 71% crash. For organizers who had gone all in on a sellout, it was a brutal blow. And it wasn't an isolated case. The same pattern hit again when the Fever played the Washington Mystics on the road. Empty seats, slashed prices, and a sobering realization. This wasn't just a fluke, it was a warning. A loud, clear, and undeniable wake-up call.
Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent. They're a dumpster fire now. And now that Caitlin Clark is injured, oh, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
What was once a hot ticket selling for $41 quickly lost its luster, plummeting to just $22, a staggering 47% drop that left both fans and front offices in disbelief. And it wasn't just an isolated dip. When you zoom out and examine the broader picture, the trend becomes even more alarming. Across 5 major Indiana Fever games over a 2-week span, average ticket prices had been soaring around $137. But once the injury news broke, that average nosedived to just $80, a sharp 42% decline in less than a fortnight. It was a clear and brutal reflection of how severely the market responded.
They stink now. Yeah, it's about me too. No, it's not. And this is proof.
This wasn't just a minor drop in interest. It was a thunderous message from the fans. No Caitlin Clark, no tickets. The demand couldn't have been clearer. People weren't just showing up for the WNBA. They were showing up for her. And when she wasn't on the court, everything felt different. The excitement vanished before tip-off. It was like the air had been sucked out of the building. That uneasy silence said more than words ever could. The league's meteoric rise, the one that had everyone celebrating, suddenly felt far less stable, because beneath all the hype was a fragile truth. This surge in popularity wasn't fueled by widespread engagement. It was riding almost entirely on the back of one transcendent star.
To games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42% since Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, an average ticket price of $137, all the way down to $80.
This wasn't just about a superstar missing a few games. It was a harsh, unfiltered spotlight on the WNBA's most uncomfortable truth. The numbers didn't lie. Cold, brutal, and impossible to ignore, they confirmed what many had quietly feared. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the engine driving the entire league. It's like the whole operation runs on her fuel, while everyone else rides along, hoping to catch the fire she brings. The packed arenas, the viral clips, the surging ticket sales. It was all hailed as the dawn of a new era, a turning point for women's basketball, a sign that the league was finally getting the recognition it deserved. But now, this moment revealed the fragile foundation beneath that celebration. Nearly all of the momentum had been built around one generational star. And when she's not on the floor, the league doesn't just lose its buzz, it loses its very identity. Because beyond Caitlin, the WNBA still lacks a deep bench of equally marketable magnetic stars. No strong roster of standout personalities ready to step up when she's out. And that's the real problem. One no amount of highlight reels can solve.
People are selling their tickets, definitely can't get face value, so what do? They just continue to lower and lower and lower and lower and lower the price. This isn't all resellers, folks. Hate to break it to you. A majority of these are everyday normal people. A majority of these are everyday normal people who watch Caitlin Clark in Iowa, watch her in her first year in Indiana, said, man, I want to watch that. I want to go to those games. I want to experience that. They won't be able to experience it. Time to sell.
It was a reality check the league couldn't afford to ignore. If just a brief absence from Caitlin Clark could trigger such a massive drop in interest, what did that reveal about the actual strength of the WNBA's foundation? This wasn't about missing a game or two. It was a glaring red flag waving over the league's entire business model. The ripple effect touched everything: ticket sales, buzz, energy, and even long-term financial projections. Games once seen as marquee matchups, like Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever, which had come to represent the league's explosive growth, suddenly lost their luster. The energy vanished. The dream of sold-out arenas gave way to the stark image of empty seats. And it wasn't just about numbers falling. It was the entire atmosphere collapsing. Even casual fans could feel it. The excitement was gone. This wasn't your typical star injury where fans still showed up out of loyalty. This was something different, something deeper. The league's heavy reliance on Clark's star power had backfired, and it was unraveling in real time. Without her, the magic disappeared. The belief that one superstar could carry the weight of an entire league crumbled, and suddenly, teams were left scrambling, desperate to stay relevant in the silence her absence left behind.
I mean, it's more statistical proof, data, to confirm exactly what we've been saying, that Caitlin Clark is driving this whole ship, this whole bus. She's driving it. Everybody else, get in the back. Get in the back.
With Caitlin Clark suddenly out of the spotlight, the attention didn't disappear. It simply shifted, and all eyes landed squarely on Angel Reese. To many, she seemed like the natural heir to the moment. Her bold presence, undeniable charisma, and trend-setting style had already made her a household name. Off the court, she'd built a brand that resonated far beyond basketball, a cultural force fans connected with deeply. She was always in the mix, always making headlines, and never shy about making bold claims, including her now famous declaration that people watch the WNBA because of her. It was swagger, It was confidence. And in a league suddenly missing its biggest name, that kind of energy felt necessary. The WNBA, desperate to keep the momentum alive, shifted its spotlight to Reese, hoping her magnetic fame could spark the same kind of sellout crowds, viral buzz, and national attention that Clark had been delivering on a weekly basis. But with that spotlight came pressure and a looming question. Could Angel Reese's star power truly carry the weight of the league's rising expectations?
The marquee matchup in the WNBA, like it or love it, rivalry or not, Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, that is the marquee matchup in the WNBA, and those tickets are crashing just as well. From $86 48 hours ago to $25. And by the time June 7th rolls around, it might cost you a bag of Skittles and some Lay's potato chips to get in there.
But this is where the numbers started telling a very different and far more uncomfortable story. With Caitlin Clark out, all eyes turned to Angel Reese. The pressure was massive, the expectations sky high. This was her moment to prove she could carry the same spotlight, drive the same ticket sales, and ignite the same buzz. But the market responded, and its answer was loud, clear, and brutally honest. Not quite. Just look at the much-hyped Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever game at the United Center. It was billed as a historic showdown, a bold Reese versus Clark rivalry set in an NBA-sized venue. The league had high hopes, a packed house, a statement moment for women's basketball. But once Clark was ruled out, that vision unraveled. Ticket demand tanked, the electricity vanished, and the massive arena once expected to roar with energy felt far too empty. And this wasn't an isolated case. The trend spread fast. Even other spotlight games like Fever vs. Mystics in Baltimore, where Reese was the headline attraction, couldn't avoid the dip. A $41 ticket crashed to just $22, a staggering 47% drop. The message was undeniable. Reese's star power, while real, wasn't enough to spark the same wildfire Clark had. Even in places where Reese had strong roots in marquee billing, the Fever never truly caught on. The hype was there in headlines, but the frenzy, that was missing.
And we have plenty of evidence that proves Angel Reese is not qualified to carry the lead.
Then came the uneasy silence. Angel Reese, known for her bold personality and confident claims about commanding massive attention, was suddenly quiet as ticket sales plummeted and fan interest dipped following Caitlin Clark's injury. That silence didn't go unnoticed. It sparked growing questions among league insiders and fans alike. Was Reese intentionally avoiding the spotlight to dodge tough conversations? Or was the silence a sign that the weight of expectations was far heavier than anyone imagined, even for someone as confident as her? Either way, Reese found herself in a difficult position. She's undeniably a star, a magnetic figure who knows how to make headlines. But the unspoken demand for her to suddenly replace Clark's impact and carry the league's financial momentum was enormous. And the numbers didn't lie. She couldn't do it alone. The difference between Reese's fame and her ability to consistently draw ticket-buying crowds like Clark had was stark and impossible to ignore. That uncomfortable truth created a dividing line, one that both Reese and the league would be forced to confront head-on.
The get-in tickets for the Fever's rivalry game against the Chicago Sky on June 7th are down 71% from $86 to $25.
You might be wondering, what about everything Angel Reese achieved in college? Her undeniable highlight reels at LSU, those viral moments that captured millions of views, and her massive social media following that rivals or even outshines many professional athletes. Shouldn't all of that effortlessly translate into WNBA's success? It's a fair assumption to think her star power and personal brand would naturally carry over and command the same level of attention. But the harsh truth, as shown by the recent WNBA market slump, tells a very different story. Caitlin Clark possesses a nearly unmatched ability to consistently draw crowds, regularly filling arenas to capacity, driving unprecedented ticket demand, and shattering records with soaring prices. In stark contrast, Reese's impact, at least so far, hasn't moved the needle in the same way when it comes to ticket sales and broad economic influence across the league. This isn't meant to diminish Reese's undeniable skill, fierce competitiveness, or magnetic charisma. She's unquestionably a captivating athlete and a star in her own right, someone who thrives in the spotlight. However, the league's fragile dependence on a single superstar has been laid bare, revealing the clear limits of even its strongest backup, the widely recognized second most popular star.
These prices are going to continue to drop,
Wednesday's Fever game versus the Mystics at CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore has a get-in price of $22.
The brutal reality revealed by the market's reaction highlights an important distinction that often gets overlooked. There's a big difference between being a star and being a true draw. You can be undeniably famous, a household name with millions of followers, and yet still lack that special ability to bring in huge crowds or massive viewership. As some blunt critics say, you can be famous and still fail to attract even the smallest audience. This harsh truth became an expensive lesson for the WNBA. The league's quiet bet on Angel Reese to serve as a strong secondary pillar, one who could carry a significant portion of the league's economic load without Caitlin Clark, proved to be a serious miscalculation. Ticket prices dropped, attendance fell, and the lively energy in arenas faded noticeably when Clark was sidelined. Despite Reese's massive popularity, she simply couldn't stop the decline. This wasn't just about one player's on-court performance. It exposed a glaring failure in the league's broader marketing approach and a risky over-reliance on just a few stars.
This game get-in was like $100 at one stage. This was $100 at one stage. Let's go one ticket. Or well, is it two tickets? Two tickets. Let's just see what it costs for court. Look at how many, oh my God, look at how many people are selling tickets.
Beyond the immediate fallout, a deeper problem came sharply into focus. The very narrative around the league's overall quality. When its biggest star, the player who turned previously overlooked matchups into must-watch events, was sidelined, attention shifted from individual talent to glaring systemic flaws. The key question emerged: if the league's product is truly strong, why does it rely so heavily on just one player to capture interest? The growing pressure placed on Angel Reese to carry this burden only underscored how fragile the league really is, too dependent on a single name, lacking a broad and resilient appeal. This situation sent a clear message.
But I'm like, I didn't realize just how bad it was going to get. I didn't realize how bad. Like, they all moved arenas and everybody's trying to sell their tickets. Like, if you look, the get-in price is $23.80. $23.80 is the get-in price for tomorrow night.